meteorologist Brian Desnansky tells WTMJ.
I would actually be surprised after what I saw that at some point they don't encounter at least EF3 damage, but you need the structures to be able to tell that story too. Was the house completely wiped off the foundation? Was the car tossed instead of flipped? Was the car, was trees stripping and things of that nature?
Survey teams are continuing to inspect homes, trees, and other damage before assigning a final rating. More than 45,000 We Energies customers are without power across southeast Wisconsin after yesterday's severe storms. Most of those outages are in Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Outagamie counties. We Energies officials.
Our crews are continuing to tackle these challenges head on. They're working quickly and safely to make repairs and restore power to all of our customers who have been affected by these very damaging storms. Appreciate your patience as our crews tackle this extensive damage and work around the clock until every last customer has their power restored.
Customers without electricity are encouraged to report outages online through the We Energies app or to call the outage in. Madison's interim independent police monitor files a subpoena against the Madison police after an officer-involved shooting leaves one man dead. The subpoena requests access to Madison's police records in the death of Corey Ruiz last week. Police monitor Mika Glass is concerned with the lack of transparency.
I am the independent police monitor and they will not provide me the names, right? Although I know his name, I need that confirmed by the police so that I can include that, as well as the other responding officers, so I can move forward with our independent investigation.
Glass, along with Madison's Police Civilian Oversight Board, are asking the public to exercise caution around unverified information circulating online before the full investigation is complete. Ahead of Lindsey Graham's funeral, a bipartisan group of senators announced an agreement to move forward with a highly anticipated Russia and Iran sanctions bill named in his honor.
The Senate is expected to move forward with a procedural vote on the bill tonight following Graham's funeral service. The package would impose primary and secondary sanctions on Russia and other countries that support Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions target Russian political officials and oligarchs, banks and financial institutions, and the Russian shadow fleet, according to lawmakers. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to be on Capitol Hill for the vote. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
And Savannah Guthrie is making a new emotional plea to her mother's kidnappers. The Today Show host released a new video online nearly 6 months after her mother Nancy disappeared from her home.
So I'm asking you, begging you, to do the right thing now. Make the right choice. Help us find her. Tell us where to look for her. I truly believe it is never too late to do the right thing.
Nancy Guthrie was reported missing on February 1st. She has not been seen since she returned home from a family game night the prior evening. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A mixed bag on the boards today. Your Dow is up 364 points to 52,553, but the S&P 500 is down nearly 4 points to 7,407, and the Nasdaq is down 183 points to 24,747. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:04.
See every smile, every milestone, every moment that matters most. From the moment you walk into Shopko Optical, you'll feel welcomed, valued, and genuinely cared for. The team at Shopko Optical takes time to understand your concerns, explain your options, and answer questions so you feel confident in your care. Whether you're due for a comprehensive eye exam or looking for the right eyewear, they're here to support your vision and eye health every step of the way. Create your personalized eye care plan. Visit shopko.com today.
Summer always starts with good intentions.
Kids home from school, weekend trips, more time outside.
But somehow the house is in complete chaos by June.
That's why summer is the perfect time to get organized with Inspired Closets.
We create custom solutions for garages, pantries, laundry rooms, and more so your home works better for real life.
And when everything has a place, summer feels a whole lot less stressful.
Visit us today at InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Inspired Closets.
A wife and husband team.
Hey, John Mercure here from WTMJ. When it's time for a new vehicle, I know exactly where I'm headed. It's the place I bought my last car, and I love it. It's Griffin Ford in Waukesha. We buy our vehicles there. Right now is a great time to make your move because Griffin has one of the largest selections of new Ford vehicles in Wisconsin. That means you choose the color, trim, features you want. They're right there on the lot. They don't have to bring the car in from far away. You don't have to wait. Looking for an SUV? Griffin Ford has 47 new Ford Explorers to choose from. Savings over $8,400 on select 2026 Explorer active models. Need a truck? They've got more than 60 of those beautiful Ford F-Series pickups, including the popular F-150. Plus, qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 36 months on most new Ford models. And you'll receive a 2-year, 25,000-mile maintenance package included with most new vehicles. Shop at Griffin Ford in Waukesha, where I buy my cars. It's Griffin Ford.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers office didn't show up last night against the Giants as they lost 3-0.
McRae lined into a big double play his first time, and he lifts one on the left. Churio going back, still back all the way, watching it sail. It's out of here. The first major league hit of the season for Grant McRae is an opposite field 2-run home run off of Sproat. My goodness, you just never would have expected it. It's 3-0 Giants.
Lane Grindle there on the call. Another late one for the Crew tonight with first pitch set at 8:45. Our coverage starts at 8:10 right here on WTMJ. And it's training camp week across the NFL with the Green Bay Packers taking the practice field tomorrow for the first day. Fans got an early cheer yesterday as the annual shareholders meeting took place at Lambeau Field. President and CEO Ed Policy reaffirmed the team's commitment to keep the iconic Lambeau Field name. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Well, the good news is we've got a couple of disabled vehicles, but nothing is actually impacting your ride. And we've only got one slow spot on the system. That's 41 southbound between Silver Spring and Burleigh. You're just tapping the brakes really briefly there. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, becoming mostly sunny with a high of 76. Tonight, mostly clear with a cool low of 64 degrees. For your Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high of 82. Thursday, at Carbon Copies, mostly sunny again, but a high of 87. Friday, that chance of showers and storms comes back with a high of 85. And for Saturday, early showers and storms, then mostly cloudy with a high of 78. Right now in Madison, it's 74. Waukesha is also 74. Green Bay is 73. And you guessed it, in Milwaukee, it is sunny and 74 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
And good morning. Yes, we had a very short show yesterday. Well, I promise we'll do our best to have 2 hours of content today. It was crazy because it just all of a sudden our show stopped and we were right into storm
right
coverage.
into it
Yeah.
for over an hour.
And well, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a bit, but just the incredible scenes from that part of the state, northeast of Wisconsin, Neenah and Menasha and Fox Valley, just absolute destruction.
And we're already starting to collect the resources available. So if you want to text in, if you know of reputable places to donate to, sign up places for people to volunteer, any of that kind of information that you want us to collect and then so that we can publicize, please text it to 855-616-1620 because I think that'll be really important as far as making sure people know what resources are available or how you can help.
Yeah, and I did reach out to Neenah's mayor, I think it's Brian Borchert, this morning. I know under no illusion that he's going to get back to me quickly because he's very busy. But I'm sure that he would say we don't need any like tourist, like what I call tourists for tragedy. You don't need to drive up there and look at it. They're busy enough. Many of the roads are closed, especially in those really heavily destroyed areas. Just stay away from that. If you don't have a reason to be there, don't be there. And every time these happen, people just want to drive around and look at it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just the weirdest thing.
Who has that kind of time?
I don't know. People are, well, whatever. But don't do that. There's already a huge drain on resources, and especially public safety folks. They're really busy. They don't want to be wasting time moving you out of the area. So just stay away. You can watch it on TV, and we hope and encourage people to find, and we'll give you some of those resources in a bit, ways to help in the limited way you can. And I know this, every community that's dealt with situations like this, they always come back bigger, better, and stronger because they unite. And I love that part of the story. Obviously, the amazing stat from this story as of right now. No injuries or
I
deaths.
know.
How is that even possible, given what I saw on TV?
I mean, what it also reminded, because I think even with the floods last year, was there one, maybe two?
Yeah.
And so it is to see that much destruction and so many houses and buildings and everything ripped apart. And thank God no one was seriously injured so that we know of so far.
Yeah, it is one of the things that we take for granted. And obviously I'm the son of a meteorologist and a weatherman, so I'm biased. But the fact that we go into storm coverage and all of those folks on TV and radio and all the people who give you that information, we're telling people to be safe and think of your family and your own safety and security. And it seems like a lot of people heeded the warning. But we're never going to apologize for doing weather coverage because it's just so important. And we saw yesterday loudly and clearly why that was the case. So we did a shortened show yesterday. We were here for 2 hours. And just to kind of tease ahead, we have Jim Santel, Mary Kuhnman, full second hour. Lots of stories, both the Wisconsin Supreme Court. There's a case in Madison that has to do with the Postmaster General and lots more things happening, obviously, in Washington, D.C. We'll get to that. You sent me an interesting story about the title or the words America First.
So this was an Axios article, basically in the headline being some Democrats tout their version of America First. And it specifically was talking about the Senate candidate for the Democratic nomination, Abdul El-Sayed, who is a progressive and has basically said, I'm the most America First candidate in the country, proudly. California Representative Ro Khanna also said it's time to put America first when he reintroduced a bill to ban gas exports during periods of high gases. So there's like these little, because I think that's where a lot of Americans are, right? Like this is exactly America First has been the battle cry for a lot of MAGA and Trump for a while. So I don't know if you want to set it up now and come back, but I'm interested as far as what does America First mean to you? And because I don't necessarily think it is a bad thing. I don't think isolationism is the answer.
Right.
But what does America First actually look like? And what does it look like from a conservative versus a liberal standpoint?
Yeah, and there's probably some shared territory there.
I think there's probably a lot more shared territory than you think, at least when you think of the average voter, maybe versus policy wonks.
And just again, I'm not heavily enmeshed into what Democrats think about strategy when it comes to midterms and then eventually 2028. But perhaps this nod to that slogan, that phrase, that idea is a recognition of the popularity, some of which propelled Donald Trump into the White House. That idea that maybe we should focus on the problems that are inherent in this country. Maybe that's part of the deal. So we'll take a quick break, 10:13. Chris and Steve, good to be back with you on this Tuesday edition of Point Taken, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Skifty from Milwaukee Weight Loss. Just had this conversation yesterday in Oak Creek. Somebody asked me, how'd you lose all the weight? 58 pounds now, since last January 1st. And the secret? You lose up to 1 pound of fat per day in the early stages, in the reduction phase. Milwaukee Weight Loss, they have the secret. Doctor developed, easy to follow. I followed it. You can certainly follow it. You lose weight fast, naturally, safely, no drugs or injections. And the magic is this. It helps reset your metabolism, and it also changes your relationship with food. And probably the trifecta of why this works so well is that you have great coaches for ongoing support. Here's the interesting part, though. It costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most of the other programs. Just go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule a free consultation, no obligation. Start with a conversation. I always say that about anything in life. Start with a conversation. It worked for me. It can work for you. And because you're a loyal Point Taken listener, right now, $200 off with their summer special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Are you hosting an event, launching something new, wanting to get the word out about your part of the state? Be a featured guest on the WTMJ Experience Wisconsin show. Share your story, promote your event or business, and connect with fans all across the state. I'm John Merkier. I'd love to interview you. We reach listeners from Milwaukee to Madison, Green Bay to La Crosse, everywhere in between. It's Experience Wisconsin. Ready to shine a spotlight on your business or company? Email me, john@WTMJ.com for more information. john@WTMJ.com.
What does America First mean to you? It can mean a lot of things. One of the things that I think you asked me this question yesterday during a break, because we were talking about what we're going to talk about the next day. I would love to see manufacturing in this country really fire up. And I'm talking, our friends in Milwaukee will understand what I'm talking about, where there was really thriving manufacturing happening, plants open, people getting family-sustaining jobs. They loved their job. They put in their hard work. They were able to enjoy their life afterwards. It wasn't an oppressive environment. It was hard work. I mean, I had relatives who worked at Laddish in Cudahy, and I forgot the new name of the place now, but it's been there for 100 years. And that's why Cudahy exists along the lake, is because Laddish, which runs along Packard Avenue for many, many blocks, was the sort of the lifeblood on the work side of life in Cudahy, and people came there to work there. We have to get back to that, including in Milwaukee, where there are available tracts of land. We need to start rethinking how we approach this. Yes, everybody loves what I call light development, right? The mixed use and the restaurants and the shops and quickie markets and all that stuff. Yeah. We have to start thinking about putting our people to work. Now, you could make arguments that maybe that's not what some generations looking for. I don't know. Until we test the theory, I'm not going to go with that.
I actually don't know if that's true, considering what we were talking about as far as the increase of people going into the trades.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not true. Some desire of people to work with their hands. I just don't know how expensive it would be.
Everything's
right?
expensive.
I'm just saying as far as, because this was the news cycle when all the tariffs first, we didn't get to talk about tariffs yesterday, but they're back. Some are back. Yeah. But one of the reasons at least stated was to reshore, right? As far as to bring manufacturing back. And I remember hearing a lot of podcasts and reading a lot of articles about like how expensive it actually is to be made in America. And especially even things that qualify to have the Made in America like tag, still parts of it aren't all made here. Like the actual, for most commerce and most products, it is a globalized industry now. And so I totally understand as far as bringing things back, making things here, and having jobs here. But because like the cost of living now is so ridiculous, and what it is to have a competitive job that is paying a living wage, how many companies can do that?
I work for a company.
Especially smaller companies.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certainly a cost to it, but I also will remind CEOs, and I hear from CEOs occasionally when they don't like me saying some of the things I'm going to say right now. There's a lot of profit happening. There's a lot of profit taking. There's a lot of high salaries. There's a lot of administration costs. If you value what you do, you also need to value your employees. And stop treating it like it's just, we'll get the next guy or the next girl, or we just keep, this constant shuffle. That stuff matters. And if we're really going to restore this sort of Made in America brand, and that means a lot of things to a lot of people. Going back to my story, though, I work for a company that offshored everything they possibly could. Call centers in India, technology in Asia, in many different countries. And there was an outcry from employees like, what are you doing here? When I need help on something, when I need to have a conversation with an analyst or something, I don't necessarily want to have, first of all, a communication gap, and two, a delay in service. So we did fight that battle. And eventually, I can tell you now, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but that company's now brought most of that stuff back because they realize there's
AI chatbots yet?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Somebody reminding me, but Laddish now makes rocket castings. Oh, they did it in the 60s. And now they use that's cool. They're using stuff for Artemis. Very cool. Very interesting company, Laddish. And I was thinking about doing a story on them at some point. Texter says, disagrees. The days of large manufacturing are long gone in the U.S. Can't be competitive. I don't accept the theory. I don't think so. We're so innovative when we want to be. Why would we not put that same brain power to work on how to make manufacturing facilities competitive and vibrant and innovative. Why would we just say, I hate this, well, we can't do it. And we just throw our hands up and that's it.
Well, you also have to have a more concrete plan of how to do it.
Sure, but I'm not a manufacturer.
Okay.
So I deal in big concepts because I'm not a manufacturer, unless you have an idea.
No, I don't. It's not my idea.
But I at least start with the premise that it can be done, at least looking at an idea that can be shaped to somehow bring this back. We're not going to bring everything back because there's things we don't make here that we'd have to start from scratch, which would be $1 trillion operation. But many things we have made here.
It's interesting because when I think of America First, at least when I think the general sentiment of it is Middle East wars and the money spent on that, of which we find ourselves in one again right now. And I think there's a misnomer as far as how much of it is foreign aid, right? Like we obviously saw USAID gutted last year, but wasn't that, as far as our discretionary budget, like less than 1%?
Yeah.
And so it's not actually the money that is going to that kind of aid that is, I mean, but a huge portion goes to defense. How much of that is efficiently spent? Doesn't seem like Doge figured that out. But it does feel like there's a lot of people who are having a really hard time getting by. And I was thinking about it as you said, and I don't know if this is an America First policy, and I don't know how all of the legislation that would have to go into for this to work. But the thing that always bothers me is when you see companies like Amazon and Walmart and their profits, and then they have people working for them who are on the poverty line, who qualify for public benefits because of the money that they make. That to me feels like there should be a way to make that illegal. That if you are a profitable company, you can't then depend on welfare to subsidize your employees.
Yeah, I mean, look, whether we're ever going to get to a point in our country where we're going to legislate how companies practice their business,
I don't know.
That's a massive, and you talk about the rise to democratic socialism, that would be probably on that path.
But do you think that's fair?
Do I think?
Do you think it's fair that we have to pay for companies that aren't paying their employees enough while they pocket the money?
I don't want to have companies benefit from the government and then not pay their employees. That's the way I would put that phrase. I don't want them to suck money out of our government in whatever form, whether that's tax breaks, whether that's entitlements, and then not pay their employees.
That's what they're doing, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we brought the subject up in the first place. I think there has to be an understanding it's a problem. I've said this for years. We shifted from employees first to shareholders first decades ago. And once that happened, all people care about, especially if you're a shareholder, is profit. I know there's still great companies that have a different mindset, mainly smaller companies. But if that's all you exist on, are you surprised at all that this is where we've ended up, where you can have half our country potentially, or 40% of our country, who probably works but is not making enough to really make that a go in their budget? That's a problem. If you work 40 hours, you should probably be able to pay your bills. And, save the lifestyle tax. Yeah, some people make bad decisions. That's not unique to poor people. Trust me.
I mean, I saw an AP chart this morning. I'm going to find it. I saved it on my phone. Of since 2019, how much groceries have gone up.
Yeah. In the last 6 years, 7 years. It's nuts.
Like, this goes back to kinship and the SNAP crisis that we're about to go into again, as far as how many people are getting kicked off. Like, food is so expensive.
Food's expensive. Rent and or housing is expensive. Insurance is expensive, especially health insurance. So everybody can complain, but until you actually have leaders, elected officials, who have plans in place to start breaking that down. I'll give you an example unrelated to sort of what we're talking about. When you look at housing in Milwaukee, there's lots of initiatives that are sort of looking at, what do we do here? We have these abandoned houses that we're selling for $1. Maybe we fix them up and then we put them back into the market where they're actually livable. That's a real idea that's happening. So could we not do that in many other areas? Let's start with a nugget of an idea and then see if that works. And then maybe this thing will grow. The other thing that on the housing side is we got to stop selling all our houses to big corporations because they're bleeding out the supply.
Well, that's in the new housing bill.
Yeah. Yeah. So thankfully, that's a good thing.
I think there's a dispute on how much of the market that actually is affecting. I've heard both sides of that. But again, I don't think private equity. I'm also surprised to no one think like private equity, along with prioritizing shareholder value, is one of the stains on the last decade that have like ruined everything.
Yeah.
It ruins everything it touches.
Yeah. Look, as a guy who likes profits and wants to make money, I get it. It's sexy. It sells. It's cool if you're the person getting it. For all the other people who have to work for you, not so good. Quick break.
Are you a fan of the Brewers and WTMJ? Yes! Do you want to have a cold one with your favorite hosts on a Saturday night at the ballpark?
Yes, sir.
Join us for our WTMJ Day tailgate on Saturday, August 29th for a game against the Rangers, presented by Big Fish Contracting and Woodman's. Enjoy food and drinks from Left's Lucky Town and a ticket to the game afterwards to snag a Jackson Churio Bowl giveaway. Register today at WTMJ.com.
Hey, you've probably gotten really good at working around your nonstop joint pain. That's what multitasking women and men like you do, right? When your knees and hips scream, you shift your weight when you're standing too long, skip workouts on really bad days when your shoulder's stiff, there's no way you're kneeling down. You might not get back up. Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi. Maybe your doctor has told you it's pain from arthritis. You're going to need surgery. Before you make that decision, get a second opinion from Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics, because there's no undo button from surgery, especially replacement. QC Kinetics and Dr. Caravelli work with busy women and men like you to keep you going with the regenerative treatments. Go to work relieving that knee pain. No scalpel, no long recovery, just your body's natural healing process that may help some patients totally avoid surgery. That's exactly why women like you have turned to QC Kinetics here in Greenfield and Mequon. They continue to get better when life goes on. The consultation and conversation to explore those options, free courtesy of QC Kinetics. So call and schedule today. That's 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. One more time, 414-667-5559.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders. And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right. Because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
If you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service, you can't beat Burkhart.
Have you thought about your legacy but aren't sure where to start? Join Annex Wealth Management for a free webinar, More Giving, Less Guessing, with CEO Dave Spano, estate planning attorney Alec Durant, and yours truly, Steve Scafidi. We'll discuss smart charitable giving, estate planning, very important now more than ever, and how to leave a lasting impact with confidence. Reserve your spot today at annexwealth.com/events. Always a good place to start, annexwealth.com. Great text from...
Lots of great texts.
Where was that one? From the 262. WeatherTech. They make floor mats and a lot of other cool products, cup holders. They figured it out, how to create something from nothing. I think that's a great example.
Costco figured out how to pay their employees over $30 an hour.
There you go.
It can be done. Both yours and mine.
I'm optimistic. I've never been a doom and gloomer. I think we can straighten out a lot of things. You were asking me a question about will we see a return at some point to just...
Oh, so I was listening to Up First this morning, which is the daily 15-minute podcast from NPR, and there was a new Brennan Center poll on where Americans stand on corruption. And obviously we've talked about it. It's been documented a lot as far as how much money this president and his family is making this time around. And it was just interesting as far as when you look back at history of Teddy Roosevelt came in and there was a wave of anti-corruption laws. And then after Watergate, Jimmy Carter came in and there's a wave of anti-corruption laws of if this is priming us for a time of reform, including anti-corruption, post-Trump?
It's a good question for Jim and Mary when they join us in the 11 o'clock hour.
Well,
signaling a new era of legality. All right, we have a local news update coming up. Thanks for all the texts. Maybe we'll continue to talk about it. Maybe we won't. But I always appreciate your willingness to jump on with us, and that whether that's by text or sometimes we get a phone call. 855-616-1620 is the number. So local news updates. What do we got coming up next in the next 10?
We're going to talk about Fox Valley and ways that you can help. I got a survey that I want people to take. We've got a lot to still come.
All right, lots to do. Local news. Before we get to any or all of that, here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Americans' confidence in the economy falling this month as gas prices resume their climb. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index falling during the month of July. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu meeting with President Trump today face-to-face for the first time since the war was launched 5 months ago today. Both leaders, as well as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, will attend funeral services for South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham at the National Cathedral this afternoon. Senator John Thune at the Capitol Rotunda honoring him today.
And to Lindsay, rest in peace, my friend. I look forward to the days when you make us all laugh again.
People are believed trapped under a collapsed shopping mall in southern Japan following a strong earthquake earlier this morning. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Tiff Pua. A woman is under arrest after a baby is found dead in Milwaukee. Police found the 7-month-old unresponsive near 25th and Hadley late Monday morning. They're calling the baby's death suspicious. Police arrested a 22-year-old woman in connection to that death. The trial continues in the criminal case against former Milwaukee City Attorney Tierman Spencer. The court selected 13 jurors and ordered witnesses to be sequestered on Monday, ending the day with opening statements. Spencer is facing 1 felony count of misconduct in office and 1 misdemeanor for obstructing an officer. He's accused of directing his staff to help him and a property owner avoid paying thousands of dollars in fees, repairs, and permits on a property he used to store cars. Spencer faces up to 4 years in prison. And over 50 activists face felony charges after breaking into Ridgeland Farms to free hundreds of beagles. And now some of them are moving right onto the next protest. Lisa Castanazzi from Shorewood is one of those people, helping to organize a 200-mile march in New York. She tells Wisconsin's Midday News what it feels like to know she could spend 12 years in prison.
More than anything, I'm sad that it came to this and that my own state, my own government is prosecuting and spending all the resources on 51 defendants. Sure, I'm a little scared, but I'm also felt compelled morally to do this.
The final beagles will leave Ridgeland Farms next month. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still a mixed bag on the boards. Your Dow is up 425 points to 52,635, and your S&P 500 is now up 4 points to 7,417. The Nasdaq remains down 125 points to 24,806. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic. We still have those 5 cars that are out on the system. They're disabled, but they're out of traffic, so nothing's actually impeding your ride there. And we just have 1 spot for a few slowdowns, 41 southbound from just past Mill Road to about Burleigh. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today becoming mostly sunny with a high of 76. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 64. Sunny again for Wednesday with a high of 82 and a carbon copy on Thursday with a high of 87. That chance of showers and storms returns on Friday with a high of 85. Saturday early showers and storms and then becoming mostly cloudy with a high of 78. Right now in Beloit, it's 76. In Appleton, it's 75. And in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 75 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. Hey, reminder, it is summer storm season, and weather damage can be a real issue at the house. So if you think you've got a problem, remember, Tri-County Contracting gives free estimates on any potential wind or hail damage. And here's the best part, they can always work directly with your insurance. It's Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. Love your home again, even during the storm season, with Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, a fee-only fiduciary.
Fee-only fiduciary really further separates the folks that either say fiduciary some of the time or best interests altogether. And it's not just that alone. It is, of course, everything else that we can bring to the table that just isn't asset management. It is estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, all of it wrapped together in one transparent fee.
Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Click the Get Started button at annexwealth.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen Bry. He is Steve Scafidi, and wanted to see if I can get you to take a survey before tonight's only debate, which I'm excited for.
I'm going to watch.
Are you going to gather with anyone? Are you just going to watch it at home?
No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm just going to watch it because I want to count how many times they say establishment. I bet you it's at least 10.
All right, mark it down, Jazz.
10.
As far as
I'll try to tally as close as I can. I'm probably going to.
All right, you're going to take. So you're taking the over of 9.5, and I'll take the under.
Okay.
I actually think it'll probably be over, but
yeah. Well, we'll see.
I'll give it to you.
Hey, just like this race, there may be surprises.
All right, so our survey, not this last Sunday, but the Sunday prior to that, because I wasn't here to make the survey for this last weekend's newsletter, was right after Sarah Rodriguez had dropped out and David Crowley had gotten back in. And I not only put it in our newsletter, but I also put it on my social media, and we had over 400 people take this survey.
Very good.
And so I wanted to try to collect even more responses and then talk about it maybe tomorrow or Thursday. And so because what I was talking about, I'm really interested in how people choose who they vote for, especially in a primary. Because often I think because of the two-party system, once you get to the general, a lot of people now either hold their... some people are excited about the candidates. Some people are just like, this is my party. This is the way I'm going. But right now in a primary, when you listen to all of the conversation that's being had in this Democratic primary, but also primaries across the country. You look at Michigan Senate race, there's races all over the place that are having these conversations. And I wanted to gauge people's thought process on how they choose a candidate. So the first question, I made it not required because it's specifically talking about David Crowley re-entering the race for governor and how you feel about that. But then I wanted to open it up for anyone of any party. And so I asked, how much influence should party leaders have in trying to unite voters behind one candidate before a primary? And then I also asked, which consideration should matter most to primary voters? Who has the best chance of defeating the other party? Who most closely represents your political values? Who has the strongest governing and executive experience? Who has built the strongest grassroots movement? Who appears most trustworthy and competent? Obviously, it's going to be a combination of those, but if you have to pick one, I'm really interested in how people pick. So if you want to take this survey, 855-616-1620. Later this week, we'll talk about what the breakdown is. But what do you think? So back in 2022, when there was a Republican primary, what were you thinking about as far as who you wanted to vote for? I guess there was also a primary for president in 24.
Yeah. I would, of those things, best chance, I would say closely represents my political views. It would be what I would go. I could care less about their grassroots movement. I understand it's important to elections. Although I would subhead that with a strong governing and executive experience. My issue with primaries is it's not the same as a general. It is sort of a love fest for someone, a candidate you think represents you the best, when it gets to the general, it's got to be about beating the other side. If you're really interested in politics, it's two different things. One from the heart, primary. One from your brain, general.
Well, and it is interesting. This primary specifically is getting me to wishing we had a runoff system, like how they do in Texas. Georgia has a runoff system. Does South Carolina have a runoff system? Because basically, if you do the math of what we're looking at for this primary, because there's 5 people, you can get way below 50% and win the primary. Mm-hmm. And so it would be interesting to me when you look at something that happens. So like if you take back Chris Abele and Chris Larson for the 2012 county executive. So I forgot how this ended up working, but basically like Chris Larson was like first in the primary where there was lots of candidates, right, and then got crushed in the general when there was just him versus Chris Abele,
that's
right?
Two
and so
different
it's like,
things.
That's what I mean. And so it's like, when we talk about more reforms to make it a more representative republic or democracy, depending on some people get very touchy about that word. Because to me, I want the person who, especially for governor, is going to govern the best, which is hard, which is not always aligned with the best campaign.
Okay, so you're saying that it wouldn't be...
So like if I'm filling this out, especially for a governor's role, like I am looking at the person who I think will actually do the best at the job and surround themselves with the right people. But it's been interesting to see in the conversation being had, so much comes back to electability. And I get it. You're not allowed to do the job unless you win. But it's frustrating because then sometimes I think you elect people who aren't necessarily going to be the best at the job.
What do you think about this comment from the 414? I need someone who makes me feel hopeful and excited about an election and what the future can hold for me. It's sort of nebulous, right? It's very vague. I mean, I want you to feel better and hopeful. That we all want that, right? But as far as picking a candidate, this is going to be like boomer talk, but the whole touchy-feely thing with candidates, there's way too much of that.
Hold on to that thought. All right, if you want to take this survey, I would love for you to take it. Text survey to 855-616-1620. It's only 3 questions, super quick. Again, text survey to 855-616-1620. We will keep the conversation going after this.
Your home is about as personal as it gets, right?
We want to build a relationship with homeowners, not only educating them, but we're getting to know them and allowing them an opportunity to get to know us.
Yeah, the interview goes both ways. Mm-hmm. Getting to know people while also serving them. It's so much more than just, okay, we're replacing your roof.
Besides that, it's just the right thing to do. See how Big Fish Contracting is renovating homes and redeeming an industry at bigfishcontracting.com.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
The world's most iconic landscapes are yours to explore with Fox World Travel and Globus. Imagine tasting your way through historic Italy, witnessing the breathtaking waterfalls and glaciers of Iceland, or relaxing on the tropical shores of beautiful Hawaii. With Globus, you get premium, expert-led itineraries and VIP access to major sites, while we handle every travel detail for you. Book your next great adventure today. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO or visit foxworldtravel.com.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in eastern Wisconsin. So there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit froedtert.com/cancer.
Why DIY your frozen pizza toppings when Screamin' Sicilian already went over the top for you? We're talking whole milk mozzarella, heaps of premium meats, a mountain of veggies. Screamin' Sicilian is frozen pizza stacked, no add-ons needed. Mamma mia! Screamin' Sicilian, so loaded with toppings, it's almost cheating. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer section and taste what all the screamin' is about.
Tune in Saturdays at 6 a.m. for Legally Speaking with Kirsten Hildebrand. Hildebrand Law. Legal talk without the filler and straight to the point. Miss the show? Catch the Legally Speaking podcast on WTMJ.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristen. He is Steve. Talking about the survey that we had in our newsletter a couple weeks ago, but we have not published the results yet because we had an overwhelming amount of people who decided to take it.
It will be in this Sunday's news.
It will be in this Sunday. We'll talk about the results later this week because I do think it's super interesting of how people who are primary voters think about their vote. Is it because your ideology matches up with someone? Is it because that person, that candidate makes you feel inspired and hopeful? Is it because you want the person who has the most experience for the job and will actually govern and get things done? Just like thinking through how people think through a primary, knowing that there's another election afterwards that they have to win in order to pursue all the things that they are campaigning on.
So I had a really smart Republican strategist friend, not Bill McCoshen, who's also very smart, tell me parties should pick the candidates. They know what they need to do to win.
You know, Wisconsin was the first state to stop doing that?
Yeah.
I learned that in the Ben Wickler book.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I go back and forth because I think it's interesting right now with what's happening with so much criticism post Tony Evers. I wasn't even here to talk about it with you. Post Tony Evers endorsing David Crowley and the frustration with him putting his thumb on the scale. I actually don't really have a problem with it. I think someone who's done the job has a pretty good reason to say who he thinks could do the best job. There's not many people who know what it's like to be governor. And so when you hear from someone who knows what it's like, I think voters are looking for guidance. What I thought was frustrating is it was like a Canva post, right?
Yeah,
like he wasn't on
here.
video.
Yeah,
he wasn't at a live event. And I know that he already had a different event that he needed, not an event, he had a different trip that he had to go on. But as far as like he raised more in the way that it ended up happening, he raised more questions for voters than it answered, as far as like, why David? Why not the other candidates that you've worked with? Why now and not before he got out of the race? Like, it just, the way it ended up happening, I thought was worse than him doing it at all. But I do think that's what endorsements are, right? They are guidance for some voters. And so is that different than the party just saying, this is who you got? Look, it is different, but it's like...
Yeah, if he was smart, he would actually clarify and expand on what his endorsement means. Now, I think he's back now, right? Or is he almost back? That's what I would do if I was governor. But I got scolded last week by hardcore Dems who said, first of all, how dare you tell us what to do? Because I sort of lectured them on their conduct. But what I don't get is the disrespect. And I'm not a Tony Evers guy. I never voted for him. But the disrespect shown a two-term governor who has led your party, who has won pretty significant victories, and you discard him like he's trash, calling him establishment. Stop. You sound stupid and you sound uninformed. I'll go back to that if you want me to. I'm sick and tired. This is my influencer thing again, of people who have no experience in politics. Because you're an influencer does not make you a genius or an expert. It means you talk a lot, usually with the camera way too close to your face, talking about things you know nothing about because of the touchy-feely stuff that you seem to be so entrenched in.
What is the touchy-feely stuff to you? What does that mean?
How you're feeling, how you're crying. It's like, come on, unless it's a mass shooting, what are you crying about? It's politics. We will get through this. We are a strong country. And this idea that you're going to blow up a two-term governor because he's establishment for what? Someone who's popular on social media seems insane to me. So careful with the choices you make. you may regret them. All right, after the break, we're going to do something important.
So quickly before we do that, because someone asked a very important question as far as how do you vote in the Democratic primary? Do you have to register? No. In Wisconsin, you do not have to register. But when you vote in a primary, you can only vote on the Republican ticket or only vote on the Democratic ticket. If you cross over, they will void your ballot. And so that's how they get around this. So that's why I only recently found out Chippewa County, obviously like the exact opposite side of the state from us, has a super interesting conundrum right now in a primary for sheriff. There's 2 Republicans and 0 Democrats. And then obviously there's the Democratic primary for governor. Mm-hmm. And so Democratic voters there have to make a choice if they want to, if they have strong feelings of who they want to be sheriff, then they can't vote in the Democratic primary.
I'm guessing most of them will choose the.
I don't know. I only found out about this because someone DM'd me being like, I want to say in who our sheriff is.
Yeah.
But
well, then they should have ran a candidate, I guess.
And that's true too.
All right, we're going to talk about something really, really important next, and that's how we can help people in Neenah. If you have ideas, certainly text them 855-616-1620. Exciting Limited WTMJ talk and text line.
$998 buys you a magnificent diamond solitaire engagement ring at Kessler's.
A solid gold mounting shows off a big, beautiful diamond, 3/4 of a carat.
Glitter, twinkle, sparkle.
This is the definitive diamond solitaire engagement ring.
You can choose a round diamond, radiant, marquise, or oval.
3/4 of a carat. Any shape you want.
Any color of gold you want.
A 1-carat solitaire is just $1,498.
Ask to see the Evermore engagement rings at Kessler's.
You're going to be ecstatic about the color, clarity, and cut of your diamond.
Evermore.
Each of these diamonds was lovingly created in the heart of a miniature star.
Your diamond will remain.
Evermore.
Your diamond was born about the time you fell in love.
You will be in love.
Evermore.
Your diamond has been waiting patiently for you to see it, love it, and choose it.
Don't keep it waiting. Come to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
It's a winning explosion at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This July, Winplosion rockets in, bursting with $300,000 in cash and reward play. For your shot at winning, just play with your rewards card. Then join us for the Thursday night prize drawings. Plus, every Winplosion entry also counts toward the big WinFest Grand Finale in September. It's Winplosion. Big bang, big bucks. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Many people feeling close to retirement ask themselves, do I have enough?
Am I missing something?
At Diversified Wealth Strategies, we provide clarity during our complimentary, no-pressure consultation. We're independent advisors using big firm tools with a boutique-style approach.
And no crickets. We stay in touch so you're never left wondering.
At Diversified Wealth Strategies, let us show you how to capture the upside, limit the downside, and feel good inside.
Visit dwstrategies.com.
Securities and investment services offered through Mosaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
It's the most wonderful time of year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, and more at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. My motorized retractable awning is already saving me from that hot summer sun. I love that I can enjoy my patio year-round thanks to Comfort Awnings. I just retract it when I want the sun and extend it when I need the shade. Comfort Awnings even come equipped with sensors that detect rain and strong winds. This year, reclaim your outdoor space for your friends and family to enjoy every season Wisconsin has to offer. Right now, get $250 off any awning or screen. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Want to watch all your favorite WTMJ shows? Check out the WTMJ YouTube channel. Live streams of all your favorite WTMJ shows, from Wisconsin's morning news to what's on tap. See breaking news as it happens. Get involved with the action in the chat on Brewers Extra Innings, or see all the cool tools on the Fix-It Show. Missed your favorite show? We've got past live streams and interview highlights too. Subscribe to 620 WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, we got a couple minutes before the top of the hour news. I wanted to clarify, I guess I didn't say it. You don't have to register for a party. when voting. So in Wisconsin, you don't register as a Democrat or a Republican, but you do need to register to vote, which you can do the same day as you vote.
Same day registration, and you can. But once you vote in the primary, it has to be one or the other. You can't go crossing over.
Don't cross over in the primary from party to party. Yeah. Just quickly, as we're still asking people to send in information for opportunities to donate, volunteer in the Fox Valley, I did have someone send in that the City of Menasha Police Department on their Facebook, they've posted the volunteer and donation information. And we will put all of this in our newsletter this weekend too, as we get people to send us, because obviously we're not up there. So I want people on the ground to send us the best information on where people should send money or volunteer or donate items. Obviously, we dealt with not a tornado, but massive flooding last year. And the community's ability to step up is really important in times like this.
Yeah, and the term that's being used, at least by one organization, is you're on standby right now.
Yeah.
Just don't go showing up. And right now, they probably need money first and foremost to organizations that actually do that work, like the Red Cross and all those things. And one of them is Volunteer Fox Cities. There's a lot of different groups. But we'll try to standardize those or put those all in a good order for you, and we'll put it in a newsletter. And I encourage people to help, because situations like this are devastating for people. And if you saw the images from that area, I'm talking about city blocks, just except for the main trunk of the tree, every branch, leaf long gone, houses destroyed, roofs collapsed, cars flipped over. So, I mean, we'll get to specific strength of the tornado at some point, because they always assess. My dad used to do that actually back in the 70s and 80s. He was the severe weather assessor guy for the National Weather Service. So he would travel to these places and see the devastation. It was unbelievable. I mean, so that's what they're dealing with. So if you want to help, there are a lot of ways to do it. We'll continue to push that out, and I encourage you to help, because it's so important for people to sort of get that little helping hand, because they're feeling miserable, and in many cases, thankfully, no injuries yet reported or deaths, but your life's just turned upside down, literally, and that's what tornadoes do. So it is important to do that. So we'll continue to update you on all of that. We're going to give you a local news update, and then, hey, it's the Jim and Mary Show, because they're two of our most popular contributors to the show. They'll be joining us for a full hour of legal stories, cases pending, what's happening with all the election stuff in Washington and Madison after the news.
There's not a bad time to better insulate your home, but there is a better time, and it's right now. Vince Vitrano here just talked with Jeff from USA Insulation. Jeff says they always get busy in the fall and early winter as everyone's concerned about keeping their houses warm. But doing a project with USA Insulation does just as well to keep your house cooler in the summer months and saving you money on your electric bills. Tell Jeff Vinny told you want the government rebates and discounts that can save you thousands on your project. Get started at USAinsulation.net.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Access Legal is now Pivot Work Injury Law, a new name that better reflects our sole focus on helping Wisconsin's injured workers. We have the same mission, the same team, and the same dedication to helping those hurt at work. Our team has handled thousands of cases, recovered more than $50 million for Wisconsin's injured workers, and remains committed to fighting for the benefits you deserve. If work has taken a toll on your body or your quality of life, turn to the team you already know and trust. Visit pivotworkinjurylaw.com today.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. It's been more than 3 years, and I'm telling you, my garage doors from J.D. Griffiths still look brand new. They pop. J.D. Griffiths has been installing garage doors and building detached garages for decades, and right now, J.D. Griffiths wants to do something for you. The first 10 people to go to the website and mention WTMJ can get $100 off a garage renovation, $100 off a new door, or $500 toward a new garage build. Go to jdgriffiths.com/WTMJ right now.
Business owners
and right-hand men and women.
When you make the catering call for your office gathering,
make it Marty's Pizza.
For pizza, pasta, subs, wings, appetizers, and more.
Delivered in our heated oven delivery trucks.
Our catering delivery range has expanded.
All the way east into Brookfield.
Just log on to martyspizza.net for easy online ordering.
Or give us a call at 262-646-3327. 262-646-3327.
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
The road leads west. Next stop, San Francisco.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He strikes out the side in the fourth. Strikeout number 11 for Jacob Mizorowski. Stand and applaud.
The Brewers take on the Giants tonight at Oracle Park. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts at 8:10 on the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's 75 degrees. Today becoming mostly sunny with a high of 76. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Tiff Pua. The tornado that tore through the Fox Valley could go down as one of the worst in Wisconsin history. TMJ4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Nisnansky says it's not just the strength of the storm, it's where it hit. He tells WTMJ,
historically, this will go down as one of the worst tornadoes in Wisconsin history when you factor in the combination of obviously size of the tornado and the population that it hit. There's, countless homes that are destroyed in Menasha. It's a terrible situation.
The National Weather Service has now rated the tornado a preliminary EF3, but survey crews continue to assess the damage. Menasha Police will be providing an update shortly. Decision Wisconsin, 5 Democratic gubernatorial candidates will make their case on the debate stage tonight. The debate comes after Governor Tony Evers made a late endorsement of Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. UW lacrosse professor Anthony Tregovsky tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
I think the Evers endorsement matters a lot because the Marquette poll shows that Evers is fairly popular, and I think it gives Crowley lots of credibility as someone who could realistically win the nomination. But at the same time, Crowley needs a lot more than the Evers endorsement.
The debate begins at 7 o'clock tonight on Channel 12. Prison time for the driver convicted in a deadly Oconomowoc hit and run.
A Waukesha County judge sentenced 50-year-old Matthew Brennicky to 11 years in prison, followed by 10 years of extended supervision after he pleaded no contest to a hit and run causing death. Prosecutors say Brennicky struck and killed 87-year-old Alan Amy as he drove his tractor home after mowing the lawn at his church last July, then drove away. Amy died 2 days later, and Brennicky was arrested after a 3-day search. A restitution hearing is scheduled for September. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
President Trump wants lawmakers to pass the Save America Act, his controversial election security bill, before they recess for the month of August. News Nation's Trevor Shirley.
The SAVE Act the president is pushing for would require a government-issued ID to vote and proof of citizenship to register to vote. Critics say it would make it harder for millions of Americans to cast ballots, in particular married women and minorities. The president even wants the Senate to blow up the filibuster to pass his agenda. The Senate also has to confirm presidential nominees, pass a budget, and consider a new Russia sanctions bill. And few senators want to stick around Washington after next week.
The Senate hasn't skipped an August recess during an election year since 2018. And a strong earthquake hitting Japan this morning.
A powerful magnitude 7.1 earthquake has struck Kyushu in southwestern Japan. The shallow quake caused violent shaking across a wide area. Reports of injuries and missing people are coming in. Images show collapsed buildings, broken roads, a derailed freight train, and a collapsed factory chimney. At a large shopping mall, dozens are unaccounted for. Rescuers believe many people remain trapped. Strong tremors continue, and officials warn another major quake could strike within a week. Anthony Trotter, ABC News, Tokyo.
Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A mixed bag still on the boards this morning. Your Dow is up 425 points to 52,635. The S&P 500 is up 4 points to 7,417. But the NASDAQ remains down 125 points to 24,806. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:04.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group, with over 40 years of experience saving businesses money. I want to speak to you small business owners and make a bold statement. I will bet you our team can put at least $25,000 in your pocket. Yes, you heard right, $25,000. We work closely with small businesses to help them use tax strategies and develop processes and procedures to make their business generate cash to keep in their pocket. My team and I have saved clients thousands of dollars by using our knowledge and experience to develop strategies tailored to your business. Would you like to see if you can do it? Your only cost is 33 minutes of your time. That's right, just 33 minutes, and who knows how much you can pocket. Remember, you earned it, we help you keep it. Call us at 414-325-2040 and ask the $25,000 question. That's 414-325-2040, or visit us at nealgroup.net. That's NEAL group.net.
Have you been living with pain and just assuming it's something you have to just live with and accept? Do not. I'm Julia Fellow with WTMJ. If chronic pain is keeping you from enjoying life, I want you to head to Jens Family Chiropractic in Germantown. Jens Family Chiropractic is now offering soft wave tissue regeneration therapy. It's an advanced, non-invasive treatment. It helps your body repair itself naturally. I'm getting that done on my lower back. Soft wave stimulates healing, improves blood flow, and activates your own body's repair cells to target pain at its source. If you're dealing with knee pain, shoulder pain, back pain, do not wait another day. For a limited time, your first Softwave treatment is just $57. This is an incredible opportunity to find out if this breakthrough therapy can help you get back to the things you love, like it did for me. Head to jensfamilychiropractic.com. That's YENTZ familychiropractic.com. Regenerate, recover, live pain-free at jensfamilychiropractic.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers still sit atop the NL Central 6 games ahead of the Cubs, despite a 3-0 loss to the Giants last night. Another late one for the Crew tonight in San Francisco. Our coverage starts at 8:10 right here on WTMJ. And the Green Bay Packers get back to work tomorrow for the first day of training camp. Fans got an early cheer yesterday as the annual shareholders meeting took place at Lambeau Field. President and CEO Ed Policy reaffirmed the team's commitment to keeping the iconic Lambeau Field name.
Now, contrary to some recent speculation, we are not selling the naming rights in Lambeau Field.
All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons was not on the list yesterday, likely due to a procedural error. Parsons is hoping to return by week 4 or 5 this season. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic, we still have those 5 vehicles that are out on the roads. They're disabled, but they are off the roadways and not really impacting your ride. We still have just a few slowdowns, 41 southbound from just before Silver Spring to just past Burleigh. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today becoming mostly sunny with a high of 76. Tonight mostly clear with a low of 64. Then a stretch of sunny weather for Wednesday and Thursday. Highs 82 and 87. When we get to Friday, a chance of showers and storms with a high of 85. For your Saturday, early showers and storms and then mostly cloudy with a high of 78. Right now in Madison, it's 75. In Waukesha, it's 76. In Green Bay, it's 74. And in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 75 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scafidi and Kristen Bry.
Welcome to the second hour of Point Taken. This is a good one because it has been a while. I mean, Jim Santel joining us in the studio, and Mary Kuhnmensch, now retired, sort of. Ish. Yeah, looking fantastic.
I had her on the last time you were gone.
Huh?
She spent an hour with me last time you were
I know,
on.
but together. Right. The point was together.
Yes.
Yeah, Jim and I have
absolutely
are just
back
making
together once
plans
again
to get together because we usually did it here. But
and all your listeners are invited to join us for lunch, by the way, just so we're clear on that.
As long as you're buying, yeah. How's that work? All right. So we can start with a lot of things. Let's go the big one, the emergency request by the Trump administration to sort of look at this case, this mail-in ballot case. I mean, you parse this stuff better than anybody, and let's separate the politics from the reality. The president's trying to shut down in many ways mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots.
Even though some states, that's all they do.
Right. This goes back to his executive order back in March, directing Homeland Security to put together state-by-state citizen lists and then asking the Postal Service to take those lists and determine who should be voting absentee, mail-in, and not. And we've got lower courts, federal courts looking at that, a district court in Massachusetts, now the First Circuit saying you can't do that, Mr. President. Constitution says that the terms and conditions of voting, they're all local, they're state related, and you are outside of your lane. And so on that basis, our Solicitor General, his name is John Sauer, ran to the Supreme Court on an emergency application yesterday and said, tell those lower courts to knock it off, to back off, and permit the president to do what he wants to do. And this, again, 2 weeks away from our primary and 14 weeks away from our general election in November.
So it's requested as of right now.
Right, exactly.
And so there's a chance that on a shadow docket, which we've talked about a lot, this could either be declined or accepted. What are the two scenarios?
Sure. The court has directed the attorneys, as they often do, to file their briefs by August 3rd, which is very soon, which means it's on a fast track. Presumably, they'll decide this case. They could, again, find that they're not going to review this at all, more likely issue some decision. And again, the question is whether or not this is the latest in a series of Supreme Court opinions in which they support the president. There have been a few, obviously, in which they have said no.
Fill in the gaps for me. They have a process, right? Mm-hmm. They have cases. They review them. They have testimony. Right. They deliberate.
And that's the merits decision, Steve, right? Those are the ones that have come up over years where you get all those briefings, you get the oral arguments. Those are the things we talked about in recent times. That's not this.
So what's preventing administration from just always going this route? And if they get instant payback for what they're looking for.
Right. In this term alone, where I think we're approaching 40 such applications. Previous terms, again, Joe Biden about 20. Before that, in the first term of this president, had about more than 40 altogether. So the answer is the frequency of this is huge. It is a dramatic change, and that's the reason why so many of us, me included, I suspect my good friend Judge Mary as well, very concerned about this process. It does not give transparency to the process, does not give the parties the full opportunity to argue this in front of the highest court in the land, and does not give the American public transparency on why the court is doing what it's doing.
What do you think, Mary? I mean, weak foundation, you're not getting all the things, the ingredients for a proper ruling. You're just rushing it through.
Correct. And that and the lack of transparency are the two major reasons why it should be used, in my opinion, by Supreme Court, the highest court of our state, the highest court in the country, on a very sparingly basis, because it's an issue there's an immediacy to the issue, and by doing this, by taking everyone that comes up, you are setting a bad precedent, and you're reinforcing what I believe is the bad behavior, in this case, of President Trump, in terms of trying to bypass all the courts that he doesn't think, or the process where it's litigated at the lower court, then the Court of Appeals, and then up to the Supreme Court, that it allows him to bypass that and continue to use the Supreme Court as his tool to implement the kinds of policies that he wants to. And that's a bad precedent. It's not what that court should be used for. So they are reinforcing bad behavior, but also for the public. And for lawyers, there's a complete lack of transparency on what is going into the decisions about which ones we're going to take and which ones we aren't. And there's a real easy solution to this. Just say no. Mm-hmm. And you issue a one-sentence decision by the Chief Justice. We will not be taking this up.
We'll hear this case when the Court of Appeals is all done with it. And then you file a regular petition for a writ of certiorari.
Either if you think that's going to happen, this one sentence response?
Not presently. Again, we've just got this happening one day ago, so it continues.
Now, one thing I will say that if they're going to do this, I'm glad that they're doing it on these election cases, because it's the one area yet where the Supreme Court is holding the line on the president. There's a lot of folks in the legal community and in the public who are very concerned with the decisions that have been coming out of that court, overturning years and years of precedent on many social issues, including affirmative action and the abortion issue. But on election, we see a growing pattern, I think you'd agree, Jim, of Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, holding the line against the other conservative members of that court, particularly Alito, the direction that Alito and Thomas would like to take it. And they're doing it in an area that we absolutely need them to hold the line on right now. Because
just recently, Mississippi, they said, yes, you've got your 5-day grace period. If ballots come in 5 days after Election Day, but they're postmarked on Election Day, you can still count them. President was taking a different view on that, and that is an affirmation for the notion of voting, as Judge Mary just said, that every vote should count, within reason, obviously.
And I like the language that they used. It was pretty strong language, both in the oral arguments and in the written decisions, which tells me that you're getting in it whenever the court or justices, individual justices, speak or ask questions at oral argument. You can get a sense or a tenor of what where they're leaning. And in this particular area, we should be very grateful that they tend to be leaning on reinforcing what the language on election statute says and what the Constitution says relative to voting.
Think about this during the break. Ultimately, this is a case as a non-lawyer and a non-Supreme Court justice where you say states run elections, maybe they can make their own decisions.
Yes.
And I want your opinions on that, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Mary Kuhn Mensch, judge, I should say, and former U.S. Attorney for Southeastern Wisconsin, Jim Santel, Chris and Steve, point taken, Tuesday.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio.
At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Old-Fashioned Roofing and Appliance Gallery. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk.
Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Over the past few weeks, I've gotten to know the team at La Causa, a Milwaukee nonprofit that helps find safe, stable foster homes for Wisconsin children who can't remain with their families. Their mission really resonates with me because I grew up in a household where it was a safe place for everyone, for my friends, my brother's friends, and so I know firsthand how one caring, stable family can change a child's life. That's what foster parenting can be, and La Causa thoughtfully matches children and families to give everyone the best chance to succeed. Learn more at lacausa.org. And if fostering's not right for you, share La Causa's story with someone who could change a child's future. Visit lacausa.org today.
Capri Communities presents Golden Memories from the Wisconsin State Fair.
My name is Jeannie. Our tradition is always to come to the State Fair and meet at Millie's. There is a memorial bench there that honors my husband, so that's where we meet. Then we have a Millie's. My family and I have been doing the Cream Puff 5K for 5 years now, in memory of my husband.
Join Capri Communities at the Wisconsin State Fair Monday, August 10th for Senior Day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
For growing businesses, digital marketing shouldn't be a gamble. If your business needs results, not guesswork, it's time for a different approach. At Margle Media, we deliver real results for businesses in an evolving digital world. Backed by data, guided by strategy, and focused on actionable outcomes. We partner with businesses of all sizes to drive growth locally or nationwide. Set up a free consultation today. Visit us at marglemedia.com. That's MARGLE media.com.
Judge Mary Kuhn Mensch and former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel joining us for the full hour, legal hour here on Point Taken, along with Kristen and Steve. Ask you a quick question. Ultimately, do you think the Supreme Court will say this is something that states do? They run these elections. Well, do you think the justices, my opinion, are smart enough to be able to get that message out?
To take a look at the Constitution, your listeners know it's Article 1, Section 4. States have the primary authority over election administration, times, place, and the manner of holding elections. If they look at the Constitution, James Madison was pretty clear about that. Like to think that our members of our Supreme Court would say yes, means what it says what it means.
Now, having said that, you just saying that, I'm fascinated by what the counter argument would be based on what you just said.
It's again, the argument in other places has been, and we've seen this in the Voting Rights Act cases, much to the chagrin of many people, that, well, we've changed since that time, right? Things have moved on. The Voting Rights Act, this past time, in this case called Calais, changed dramatically, right? On the basis, well, that was 1965. Now we're in a different time period. And maybe even stunningly, Steve, I don't buy into this, but stunningly the notion of, they wrote that at a quaint time in our history. That's 238 years ago and no more.
You even have conservative Republican senators like Senator Kennedy from Louisiana weighing in on this issue, and he's only willing to support the president's bill, the SAVE Act, just so far. He reiterated that everything regarding elections should be, in a press conference about a week ago, should be left to the states. That's what the Constitution says. He even quoted it. He is an attorney. I think he's Georgetown educated, actually. And he indicated the only area that he thought the feds could stick their nose in is perhaps a uniform identification card, whether that all states, especially in federal elections, ought to be using one form of identification. What that form is, they can debate on the Senate floor.
They used to call that papers. You have your papers.
You have your papers. And that he's willing to stake out that for the president, but on all other aspects of election law, I believe he takes exception to taking it away from the states.
And states know what they're doing, right? Your local clerks, they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
They're not perfect, but this is not a situation, again, a problem in search of as an answer in search of a problem.
So speaking of states deciding their own rules, recently, Wisconsin Election Commissions made it very clear that you could not spoil your ballot. After David Crowley had dropped out, then Sarah Rodriguez dropped out, and then David Crowley got back in. Correct me if I'm wrong on the timeline, but then it was after David Crowley got back in that Wisconsin Democrats, along with some voters, filed a lawsuit.
Yes.
Trying to change the rules that the Wisconsin Election Committee had suggested, as far as if you already mailed it in, you can't change it.
Interestingly enough, Kristen, I believe that case is being heard in Dane County this morning. Yes.
So walk us through the process as far as what the legal arguments are and what would have to change, how quickly for that to impact the election that is in 2 weeks.
And I think you've hit, Kristen, on a principal issue, which is there's a concept out there. Courts should not be doing these kinds of things when you're so close to an election. That's going to cause confusion. Populations, again, specifically with respect to line drawing, but this as well. The fact that we're even discussing this, again, 2 weeks before a primary election where this major issue will be decided, frankly, on the Democratic side, but also down the road in November. The courts have said, listen, we'll entertain those issues, but we've got to do this in a way that does not completely affect the result of the election by virtue of changing the rules late in the day. That's the way that this should play out.
Wisconsin statute 6.86 sub 5, I believe, is articulates when or spells out when spoilage can be used. And whenever an elector returns a spoiled or damaged absentee ballot to the municipal clerk, or an elector's agent under sub 3 returns a spoiled or damaged ballot to the clerk on behalf of an elector, and the clerk believes that the ballot was issued to or on behalf of the elector who is returning it, the clerk shall issue a new ballot to the elector or elector's agent and shall destroy the spoiled or damaged ballot. So what you've got are the Democratic Party and other Democratic petitioners in this case trying to expand on what the term spoilage means. Typically, having served as an election commissioner in the city of Milwaukee in 2020, it typically, as it was explained to me by the clerk's office at that time, involves somebody marks the ballot twice,
right?
Makes an error on it of some kind that basically renders it null and void. That the machine will pick up both dark circles, or it won't pick up either, and so your vote won't be recognized. Or you spill coffee on it such that it, or some other beverage or food such that it spoils it in some way. The party that is petitioning this before the court wants to expand what spoilage means, because that, in effect, if you do vote and you've already mailed your absentee ballot in, your vote is for somebody who is no longer in the race. In this case, majority of them were, I think, Rodriguez voters, and she's no longer in it. Your vote is basically null and void as well, and that the spirit of that statute should allow for that kind of spoilage as well. We'll see what the judge comes up with. I am not confident that they are, given the closeness and proximity to the election, given the work and the volume. Here's the other problem. Because since 2020, voting by mail has become so popular, and in fact, it's the only way to vote in some states now, I think 6 of them, or it's the main way to vote. And we have, 46% of the population in Wisconsin is now voting by mail. So you're now putting an incredible burden on clerks that are not prepared or staffed to handle that. So you've got some practical implications about this as well.
So that was my question as far as this news breaking last week when I was on vacation. As far as is this a voter information like messaging problem, or does like we need to change when mail-in ballots get sent out, right? As far as if you get that so early in advance and you have the opportunity, unless you're dead set on, but like someone can drop out, right? And so is it more that the communication to voters needs to be like, this is the sweet spot to mail in your ballot so that it gets there on time, but also that anything else that changes in the election, you can make sure that you know who you want to vote for and that person's still in the race. Is that what it needs to happen? Or is it that we need to send ballots out sooner to the election?
My answer to that is, and I think Jim knows where I'm going with this, you may be solving one problem, but creating a whole bunch of other ones by even trying to do that and try to encapsulate what's the sweet spot. I don't know that that's even possible as a practical matter, Kristen.
And it's not insignificant because I'm just looking at it, Associated Press reporting 80,000 votes cast as of last week by mail. It's a big number, especially when you're talking about a primary. Mary Kuhnman's Jim Santel will continue the conversation after this on 620 WTMJ.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I'm torn on this because I don't know if I want to see another quarterback wearing number 4 or number 12 or number 15.
See the world from his perspective.
I think you'd ever have to get to where it'd be like pi, 3.14 or anything like that.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
That's like back in the old days when I would walk on at Wisconsin, you got the issue gear and it was number 140. Kind of let you know where you're at.
Mark Tauscher, presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Had so much fun in Mexico last year with my wife, Kathy, and Rose Gray from Fox Road Travel. I'm going back, and I want you to come with me. This next February 2027, we're heading to the Sea of Cortez to stay at Dreams Los Cabos Suites Golf Resort and Spa. It's spectacular. Kathy, my wife, said, this is amazing and beautiful and gorgeous. Stunning, all-inclusive escape with unlimited luxury, gourmet dining, top-shelf drinks, endless activities. We'll keep you busy. We'll have fun, all included. Get to hang out with me, and a lot of our repeat guests are already signing up. I just talked to a couple the other day. Last year's trip sold out pretty fast. Don't miss this one. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO today. Join me in Mexico in February next year. You want to come on this trip, and I will guarantee you it will sell out, and this is a absolutely spectacular resort. Join us in Mexico. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Rose Gray, yours truly, and all of you having fun in Mexico, getting out of those crazy cold Wisconsin winters.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
The other day I received a call from a customer who had these beautiful old tables that at one time were covered with glass tops. But one day a coffee mug dropped, and just like that, those beautiful tables went right into retirement. You know how it goes. Once a glass top of a set of tables breaks, they go into the basement or the garage and do a great job at collecting dust. The customer never knew who could help, but when she asked, I readily said, "Oh, we can replace that. In fact, there are a lot of things we can do with glass. We could even sandblast a beautiful custom design into your new glass tops." This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service, and glass and mirrors have been our business for over 35 years. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
See every smile, every milestone, every moment that matters most. From the moment you walk into Shopko Optical, you'll feel welcomed, valued, and genuinely cared for. The team at Shopko Optical takes time to understand your concerns, explain your options, and answer questions so you feel confident in your care. Whether you're due for a comprehensive eye exam or looking for the right eyewear, they're here to support your vision and eye health every step of the way. Create your personalized eye care plan. Visit shopko.com today.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. Kristen Z Point taking Jim Santel. We got a minute or so. Could a justice, I know this is speculative and just theory, I guess, but could a justice say, or justices say, the Constitution says you should show up in person, vote your mind, vote your candidate, Cast your vote. Get out of there. Could they really go after an originalist interpretation of how we vote?
Steve, you just articulated one of the arguments for the Supreme Court this past term. What does Election Day mean? And they had debates about exactly that. Does it close at, again, 8 o'clock on November 3rd, or do you have this grace period? And in the end, this Supreme Court said, no, we're going to give you some grace period on it, and we're going to ensure that people have the right to vote. And so the issue about when an election begins and ends very much on the minds of the Supreme Court. Recall also, however, that this is the Supreme Court that just a few weeks ago, basically, as one of the justices said, brought Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act to its knees. And that's what we now have in another area, not specifically voting on November 3rd or August 11th. Gerrymandering, the great issue of our day, now rampant throughout the United States of America because of the decision in Calais.
So basically with gerrymandering, the only way we're going to get ourselves out of gerrymandering is either a state law or a national, like a federal law that bans gerrymandering. Because the courts have basically stepped out of it.
The Supreme Court's opinion, again, I think opens the door for the legislature, as it can always do. Do a fix. Do a Calais fix. Do, again, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act of
got to leave it there because we got to get to news. We got a local news update. Here's the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. On Capitol Hill, late Senator Lindsey Graham lies in state in the rotunda with fellow lawmakers, friends, and family and dignitaries paying their respects today. GOP Senate leader John Thune at a ceremony called him a friend and a fierce advocate of global allies, including Israel and Ukraine.
Lindsey was a towering figure here in the Senate and on the international stage. His leadership on national security and our national defense is well known. I traveled with Lindsey all over the world as part of congressional delegations, and I saw firsthand just how much he was respected by our allies.
Graham's funeral this afternoon, held at the National Cathedral. President Trump will deliver the eulogy. Consumer confidence slid this month, with U.S. and Iran hostilities fueling concerns over gas prices and stubborn inflation. Cleanup continues in hard-hit Wisconsin after powerful tornadoes ripped through the town of Menasha. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:31. I'm Tiff Pua. Over 41,000 We Energies customers are still without power across southeast Wisconsin after yesterday's severe storms. Most of those outages are in Kenosha, Outagamie, and Milwaukee counties.
Our crews are continuing to tackle these challenges head on. They're working quickly and safely to make repairs and restore power to all of our customers who have been affected by these very damaging storms. Appreciate your patience as our crews tackle this extensive damage and work around the clock until every last customer has their power restored.
Customers without electricity are encouraged to report outages online through the We Energies app or to call the outage in. Residents in Menasha, that was the hardest hit by the storms, will need to contact their public utility for details on power restoration. The investigation continues after a man dies in Whitewater after a suspected lightning strike.
Respond to Courtney Elizabeth for a male subject motionless 80 feet in a tree due to electricity issue.
Scanner audio from Broadcastify. Whitewater fire crews responded Monday morning near Whitewater High School to reports of a man suspended approximately 60 feet in the air. Our partners at NBC 26 in Green Bay report that the 29-year-old man was performing a tree clearing service when his supervisor reportedly heard a, quote, loud bang and flash. He believed the tree had been struck by lightning. There was no evidence that the worker came into contact with any energized electrical lines. He died at the scene. In Decision, Wisconsin, early voting is now underway across Wisconsin for the August 11th election.
Voters can cast absentee ballots in person through August 9th, though hours and locations vary by municipality. If your community has more than one early site, you can vote at any of them. The easiest way to find your location is myvote.wi.gov or by contacting your local clerk. While a photo ID is still required to vote, it does not have to be a real ID, the driver's license, or state ID with a star in the corner. If you're voting by mail, it's recommended you return your absentee ballot by August 1st to help ensure it arrives by Election Day. Nizer Spencer, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Still a mixed bag on the boards. Your Dow is up 429. 5 points to 52,635. The S&P 500 is up 4 points to 7,417, but the Nasdaq is still down 125 points to 24,806. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still good news. We still have those disabled vehicles on the system. There's less of them, but they're still out of traffic. So all we've got are slowdowns. 2 spots, 41 southbound from just before Mill Road to Burleigh, and then 94 east and westbound right at the stadium interchange. We're going to be tapping the brakes there. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today becoming mostly sunny with a high of 76. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 64. Then we start a stretch of really sunny weather. Wednesday, a high of 82. And Thursday, a high of 87 with mostly sunny conditions. For your Friday, that chance of showers and storms returns, a high of 85. For your Saturday, early showers and storms, then mostly cloudy with a high of 78. Right now in Whitewater, it's 77. In Waupun, it's 76. In Milwaukee, it's sunny and 75 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:35.
Trying to keep up with the 21st century can really get you down.
When you need a break, come to Kessler's. We'll turn your day around.
We have good air conditioning.
And we love making new friends.
The coffee's better than average.
Because we want you to come back again.
We want to be your jeweler.
My father told you for 29 years that he wanted to be your jeweler. He put that desire in everyone he hired.
And then he gave us the company.
He transformed our lives and gave us the most fun job on earth. It's easy to sell jewelry when you sell it for less than it's worth.
Come and take a look at our engagement rings.
And of course, we have thousands of other things. When you're having an overcast day, come to Kessler's. We're going to turn your day around. Free jewelry cleaning done by world-class professionals. While you drink your good coffee in a room full of diamonds and gold. Makes you feel better, no matter what you've been told.
One thing you definitely want to see before you're done
is our exclusive Kessler 81.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Family owned, family operated, family priced. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Boy, this time goes fast, and we always appreciate when Judge Mary Kuhn-Mensch and the former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel and attorney Jim Santel join us for a full hour of legal issues. Let's go to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. We're talking about a lot of national stories, and obviously, swirling around the elections and mail-in ballots and all that stuff. And if nothing else, go vote in the format that you would like to vote, because that's the important thing. This is a primary that matters. Candidates matter, and certainly elected officials, they benefit from your votes. All right, so what has the court been up to? Obviously, they're going to be swearing in their newest member, Chris Taylor, Saturday, right? Saturday?
Yes.
August 1st.
All right, what have they been up to this last term? What have they got done?
I think it's pretty interesting, the cases that, and I'll highlight two of them that they chose to weigh in on, and whether they were unanimous or split decisions. And I'll start first with the area of constitutional and civil rights law. And Jim, you can weigh in on this as well, because we know what Justice Roberts' view has been on the Voting Rights Act. Well, we had a race-based college grants case called Rabina versus Higher Education Board. And that was a unanimous decision by our state of Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Sometimes they do agree among themselves, which is a good thing, right?
Surprise, surprise. But a unanimous decision, which is one of the reasons I chose to talk about it. It came out in June. The court struck down a decades-old taxpayer-funded undergraduate retention grant program meant for specific minority students, including some Asians and African Americans and Latinos, following federal precedent restricting race-conscious programs. So it's noted because it came in after some of the major decisions about the Voting Rights Act and and affirmative action
They were
law.
shown the way by a previous
Correct.
precedent.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly
can point
right.
to the United States Supreme Court and say that's the principle they're
Yeah.
articulating.
That makes
We're bringing
sense.
it back to Wisconsin.
You still, even though it was unanimous, you still had the Chief Justice, Jill Karofsky, weighing in with a separate affirmation as part of the unanimous decision. But in that, she tried to provide some sympathy language. That's the best way I can describe it. That minority groups could sort of hold on to or take some grace in, I suppose, to soften the blow. But I don't know how successful that will be. But I think she wanted to use her bully pulpit in writing a consenting part of the unanimous decision. But she wanted to write separately so she could throw some other things in to make it a little bit more palatable to certain minorities.
Is that a role? Is
obviously-
that the role as you see it of the Chief Justice?
Sometimes I think it is. I think it helps because they are there to render justice. And so if there's any part of their decision, I think you'll see John Roberts has done that. And I think Coney Barrett did it in a way in the, I'm trying to remember which case that she went along with the majority. It's skipping my mind. You might remember it, Jim. But she basically carved out a separate opinion because she disagreed with certain points that were being made by Alito and principally Clarence Thomas.
Right.
In any event, I think that that's part of a judge's role. Yes, we're teachers. We're supposed to be teachers, and we're supposed to teach with our decisions, both from the bench and in writing.
And they're also concerned about precedent, right, Mary, down the road. If, in fact, the statements that they make in the majority opinion are viewed as so strident and so bright line, they also want to say, you know what, there's some possibility here in the future for arguing something around the edges.
And now it reminds me of what the decision was. It was on the Jack Smith case, and that if you want a map to get in front of us again, I'm going to give it to you in my opinion, which was ruled against you. But here's where I think you could go, as she wrote in her confirming decision.
Instructional, right?
And instructionals to if they ever want to bring it again, DOJ do this. So yeah, they tip their hats a little bit in that regard. The other case is very important because it balances what Supreme Courts are supposed to do and they have to do. Any judge has to do many, many times. I had to weigh the rights, competing rights. In the case involving voting eligibility and privacy, Wisconsin Voter Alliance versus Secord. This was a 5-2 ruling. You can guess who the two justices were that in Wisconsin that ruled against this. This came out just recently in early July. The court rejected a conservative activist bid to publicly release state guardianship and incompetency records tied to voter eligibility lists, citing personal privacy protections. So there the court, in its decision, was spelling out the rights that we have as voters to know and to have transparency about whether the Election Commission is doing its job, which is to make sure that people know, the public knows who is not eligible to vote. Well, we know in Wisconsin, convicted felons, unless their rights have been restored, how are those lists kept? Are they provided to people that are checking people in to register for voting so that we prevent people who cannot vote from voting? So there's the need to have that check, and yet there's a need to have privacy as well for people who have been deemed incompetent, that their privacy rights are tantamount to that trump our right to know who's eligible to vote and who isn't. So in that case, the Wisconsin Supreme Court said a person who has been deemed or found to be incompetent has the right to privacy, that this should not be released to the general public, and that outweighed any public's right to know whether or not these voting rolls are being kept up to speed and accurate and correct. So I think that that's an important decision because it shows the general public the kinds of thinking that the court has to go through when weighing these cases, balancing the rights of everyone.
Kristen has a question. We'll get to that after this on Point Taken with Mary Kuhn-Mensch, Jim Santel. After this.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
A whole day dedicated to us? No, dedicated to you, the WTMJ fan. Come celebrate WTMJ Day with us, your favorite WTMJ hosts, Steve and Kristen, at a private tailgate at the Brewers game, Saturday, August 29th. Enjoy food, drinks, and hanging out with us, plus tickets to the Brewers game as they take on the Rangers at AmFam Field. Get more information and secure your tickets at WTMJday.com. Tickets are going to go fast, so sign up today. We'll see you at the ballpark for WTMJ Day, Saturday, August 29th, sponsored by Big Fish Contracting and Woodman's with catering courtesy of Leff's Lucky Town.
The first thing I thought about is, what am I going to do?
Peggy and Willie were injured when a driver ran a stop sign.
I was injured pretty bad, and they rushed out to me and made sure that I got the medical attention that I needed to make that recovery. One call, that was all, and everything went well.
Here for you 24/7. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores. Get sale discounts store-wide all month long. What a great time to shop for all of your Christmas needs. Get your holiday decor and so much more, along with all the great bargains we always have for you. It's Christmas in July at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory is arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy, and helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Many of us struggle to lose weight. I use Milwaukee Weight Loss to lose the weight I've wanted to lose for a long time. And the great thing is I've kept it off now for over a year. Lost 45 pounds last year, another almost 10 pounds this year with the goal of losing maybe 10 more. For a limited time, get $200 off of their summer special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. I can do it. You can do it. We can all do it. Let's lose weight together. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. That was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
All right, lots to talk about. We only have a few segments left, quick segments here. Kristen had a question, though, on what Mary was just talking
Well,
about.
as we were talking about the last case, as far as the privacy rights of people who have been deemed incompetent, in my brain, I just popped in. It's like, what does it take to be deemed incompetent? Like, is it that's in the court system, and then that gets updated in voter files?
Our probate courts deal with that every single day, just as our children's court, as Jim practices in, deal with termination of parental rights. These are some of the most difficult, if not the most difficult cases that come before the justice system, because they go right to the core of human relationships, our relationships between children and parents, and they're more often than not, that's what's being examined, the quality of that relationship, the ability for those children to be in an intact family, but also be free from abuse. I don't know if you want to weigh in on, I think you had a case today.
Jump in, Jim.
I did, absolutely. And to Mary's good point, this is why we have judges, and they're human beings, right? and they've got to make these very difficult decisions based upon their own experience, their background, certainly on the bench. But beyond that, common sense, what we know about family situations, it's tough stuff. It's not easy to parse through the human condition and make determinations about everything. From, again, probate court issues, but also what's the definition of a family? How is this particular family going to be defined in the future? Children who are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old and older, are they going to be with a guardian? Are they going to be with someone in placement? Going to be returned to their parents? Those are decisions that you can only pull from courts after people have been on the stand and testified, sometimes also involving the interests of the children directly and what they may say about their interests as well.
All right, let's take an early break. We've got one final segment. We'll kind of pull together our thoughts. A fascinating hour. I can tell by the text line they always love you guys when you're on. I was just thinking during the break when you were talking, I met you roughly 14 years ago.
We did.
In a week or so, yeah.
Exactly.
And I've known both of you for a long time, and there's a reason why you're here, because you're very, very on point on what you know and your dissection of some of these legal precedents and cases. Fascinating stuff. So thanks for being here. Quick break.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
The updated Wisconsin Democratic governor nominee odds, according to Kalshi, have Francesca Hong as 69% as the favored frontrunner. But the Wisconsin elections folks are saying, you can't do this. We want voters to understand they cannot legally make a bet on an election and cast a ballot in that same election.
The fact that people are betting on it now, though, I mean, that says something.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve for Annex Wealth Management. When life changes, who can help you? The loss of a partner, divorce, or a health crisis, suddenly handling the finances on your own. When that happens, what do you do? If it happened today, would you be prepared? Annex Wealth Management invites you to Instant Insight, the Fed in the Markets, Wednesday, July 29th at 3 p.m. In about 15-20 minutes, this interactive webinar will discuss how the Fed's announcement might affect your retirement plan. Also, the impacts of the latest Fed data on some of your life decisions, like finding a home. Annex takes your questions live and helps you understand what may happen through the rest of the year. Easy way to find it, click the events tab at annexwealth.com. It's always a great resource. At Annex Wealth Management, guidance begins with understanding your unique situation and goals. Everybody's different. Whether it's investment management, tax planning strategies, or preparing for retirement, their team can help you make informed decisions. As a fee-only fiduciary, Annex Wealth Management are committed to putting their clients' interests first with goal-focused, non-commission strategies. Teams of professionals, I've met all these folks, are amazing. All under one roof. Know the difference. Visit AnnexWealth.com. That's Annex Wealth Management, AnnexWealth.com.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala. Nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars, each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contests.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Now it's time for your closing arguments.
Jim Santel, you're up first. You can take it wherever you want to take it. It's your time.
All right, Steve, you indicated just a few moments or so ago that we're coming up on the 14th anniversary of the Sikh temple shooting right here in Oak Creek. Obviously, a mass shooting changed America, as do all of these. Remember, of course, very well, that was time that you and I first met. You were the mayor. I was the U.S. attorney at the time. The importance of government responding across the way to that kind of human tragedy. That's the other significant point here. It is all about humanity and communities coming together in these times of tragedy. We think right now about Seattle. We think about New York, all of these other situations. Supreme Court, for what it's worth, is going to be taking up the issue of whether or not AR-15 semi-automatic weapons should be banned in America. Again, that was the Sikh temple shooting was not that kind of a shooting, but we remember this event, and it reverberates to this day, both in terms of the ways in which we understand our relationship to one another and justice in America as well.
It gives me great pride that, because I know this because I've talked to the Department of Justice many times since, and I spoke to some of their members, that our response, not just that day, but weeks and months afterward, is still used as a guidebook for how a community of our size should respond to a mass shooting. And I take great pride in that because I was learning on the job, as you know.
And you led the group, Steve. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mary Kuhn-Mensch.
You know, I was thinking about some of the topics that you and Kristen were talking about as to what moves you. What are the things that you look at or are moved by when you're about to pull the lever and vote? And Steve, you talked about something that's been on my mind for a long time, and that's who inspires me. Who talks about things that excite me, that lead me to believe that there's hope for the future, that we are this magnificent country that is capable of providing for its citizens. And that even the smallest of us gets a voice in our system. And that triggered in my mind, my political psyche was formed in 1968 when I was, in 7th or 8th grade at St. Monica's grade school in Whitefish Bay. And we had the assassinations of Martin Luther King, but more in terms of politics, Bobby Kennedy. And what sticks in my mind is every time I see on an anniversary date of his assassination is the funeral train going from New York down to Washington, D.C. on an incredibly hot, muggy June day. And the thousands of Americans in T-shirts and hard hats, different colors and generations of people, some with flags, a police officer saluting as the train went by with his casket on it being taken down to Arlington National Cemetery for burial. And he was the last politician in my mind that has inspired me, and that's 52 years ago.
Wow.
What does that say?
There's a theory out there, and I've been doing some reading on it because I'm more of a deep thinker, at least in my own mind, than I used to be, but that America needs a shock to their system every once in a while. And maybe that was a shock in 68. What that shock would be now, I have no idea. And I'm never going to cheerlead for bad news, but I mean, it's clearly there's a line that we have to figure out. How are we going to reconcile some of the problems that ail us?
Look at what he spoke to.
Real quick.
He was able to speak to hard hats and to minorities because he offered justice for all. Don't label people. Listen to people. Accept people on their own terms. And be grateful that we have an opportunity to vote for our officials in this wonderful democracy we call the United States. So I think he offered hope because he offered compassion and acceptance, and I think we're craving that in this day and age.
Our pleasure to have both of you on. Judge Mary Kuhn-Mensch, former U.S. Attorney, and
an honor,
Attorney Jim Santel.
Kristen.
The news is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Ridgetop Exteriors. Trusted, local, affordable. Thinking about a new roof? New siding? New windows? Think Ridgetop Exteriors, your trusted local